Olá, muito boa noite. Bem-vindos, meus caros. Episódio número 20 do Couratos&Atacadores, série 2. Hoje, novamente, no Facebook e no YouTube. Já temos aí algumas pessoas a fazer os comentários. Façam aí os vossos comentários. Hoje vamos ter um episódio daqueles espetaculares. E mais uma vez, um episódio espetacular começa sempre com alguns minutos de atraso. Já não estávamos habituados a começar tão tarde, mas, mais uma vez, Paulo Terrinca a ter os seus problemas informatiquês e a termos que esperar. Todos os que chegam a horas ou atrasados chegam sempre mais preparados do que Paulo Terrinca para começar o Couratos&Atacadores. E agora aqui com umas dinâmicas em que tivemos que adiar aqui um bocado as horas, mas pronto, 10 minutos, não está mal, 10 minutos de atraso, 21h42 e temos um daqueles programas. Hoje temos o nosso primeiro programa em inglês, vamos falar a maior parte do inglês. Quem não percebe nada de inglês também não há problema, nós vamos tentar traduzir aqui partes do programa para ficarem a entender tudo o que vamos falar. Hoje o nosso convidado, o Awal Umaru, espero não me ter enganado, engano-me sempre nos nomes, responsável dos Porto Mutts, ou Gaia Mutts, agora corretamente, Maia Mutts, responsável dos Maia Mutts, que estão a ter uma prestação muito, muito interessante na Série Norte, na Zona Norte, e que vão Umaru, pronto, enganei-me. Está certo. Bom, mais uma vez engano no sobrenome do nosso convidado. Dizer que vamos ter então aí o nosso convidado que nos vai falar como é que está a ser este retorno ao futebol americano em Portugal e como é que sentiu os Mutts e como é que está a ser esta prestação. Está a correr bem, pelo menos de vento em popa nos jogos que nós vimos, e também o que ele espera também nestes jogos, nos próximos jogos que vão ter, nomeadamente esta segunda ronda que vai começar agora, digamos assim, vai tornar-se e vão jogar contra os Salgueiros Renegades, julgo que já este fim de semana. Mas bem, para quem está aí em casa, vamos ver o que é que o Awal tem para nos dizer. Dizer também que vamos falar ainda um bocadinho do futebol americano nos Estados Unidos, na NFL, com tantas novidades e com os meus Falcons sempre no caminho do sucesso ou não. Bem como também ainda vamos tentar no final falar um pouco sobre flag football e sobre todas essas novidades que tem para nos dar. O Paulo Terrinca irá nos dar aqui algumas questões. Não vamos ter, íamos ter a rubrica do Júlio Martins, esteve quase a ser terminado, mas a impossibilidade de acabar, não vamos ter. Será que ele ainda vai conseguir fazer? Meus caros, está aí, Couratos&Atacadores, série 2, episódio 20. Até já. E dizer que este programa é patrocinado e apoiado pelo Fox Lounge Sports Bar and Bistro. Obrigado ao vosso apoio. My friends, how are you? Paulo Terrinca, how are you? Júlio Martins.
Boa noite.
Boa noite.
É espetacular. O Awal
pessoal.
This is the only words in Portuguese, but we will try.
No, it's one of
I
my
bet he can
videos.
say francesinha because he's in Porto. So
Yeah, I know a little bit about the francesinhas.
Paulo Terrinca, how are you?
I'm doing well. Just getting ready for a big game this week. Getting some plenty of rest in, and just getting everything lined up.
a game with some familiar faces on the other side.
Absolutely. That's it's actually a great thing for like I said, it's a great thing for the league. It's a good thing for guys to see how I work, and how I expect them to behave and do the same when I'm not with them. So so it's overall just a great experience to be able to play against those guys and see where they're at, and also just enjoy the game of football with each other.
Okay, Awal, first of all, welcome back to our league and our country. I
Thank you
think
very much.
it's a good return for all of us, and I would like to ask you because I think most of the people in our league, they know about your past before the first
Correct.
time you arrived to Portugal. Can you tell us what happened after you left the last time you played in Portugal, and that moment between that time and all the things that happened during all these years until this point?
Correct. So I left here 2018, I believe. When I left here, I actually I was drafted into the CAFL, which is the Chinese Arena Football League. I played for the Beijing Lions. Was fortunate to play there for a season, but unfortunately, due to the pandemic, we had to change course, and not by choice, but just the nature of how things are flowing with life. So I later left Beijing middle of the pandemic, and I actually planned on playing here in Hungary, but things didn't work out as well. Again, pandemic wise, went back home. Was able to get a few things under my belt while I was back home, and Portugal called my name, and for some reason, I understand the demographics of people out here in Portugal. I understand how the hunger is for the game, and for me, it's not more so about just playing and showcasing my abilities, but also about helping those that they're passionate about the same game I'm passionate about.
Mm-hmm. So did you get to play or only coach in China?
I did play in China. I played. I was actually nominated best defensive player, the defensive player of the league out there, and I played. Made it to the championship game. We lost in the championship against the Wuhan. I forgot the name. The Wuhan. It was a Wuhan team. And
Fun bets? No.
It's gonna come to me.
But this is arena football.
Correct.
Okay.
So with that being said, we lost in the championship game, it was a great game overall, great experience. First time playing indoor football, and playing indoor rules at that, so it was just overall just a great experience, and I couldn't trade it for anything,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And did you coach any project or?
Absolutely. That was one of the things I did out there. I was a coach at a football academy out there, which was working with kids ages 3 to about 15. So I was able to work at a football academy out there, as well as I also coached in the CAFL as well. So I had experience at both the youth level and also coaching adults, and overall it just gave me a bigger perspective of the sport and different ways of approaching it, and with one of the things we've all discussed, even the guys out here, it's implementing a lot of things for newer kids, which is starting off with the flag,
Yeah. Trouble in terms of like culture shock in communicating, not the language, but in terms of culture, it was hard for you to bring the message especially to the little kids. I'm asking especially to the little kids.
It's for the little kids. Quite honestly, it was not actually. It wasn't I didn't find it so much of a culture shock. One, what helped me a lot is just being somebody that's played in different areas of the countries, and I'm always it wasn't a culture shock. Reason being, we had experienced Chinese athletes as well, which played a huge role as assistants to us. So with that being said, they were able to break down the game for the kids. And again, football is pretty simple when you use context clues. If I tell a kid to hold the football like a hamburger, you know what a hamburger looks like. So and they know how to get the football like a hamburger. So simple things like that is what elevated the game out there, and also is what I'm trying to bring out here as well. And at all levels.
Okay.
What about in Hungary? Did you get to play any games? Or it
No.
was stopped before?
Right. I unfortunately I didn't get a chance to play. The pandemic kind of stopped that prior to anything prior to the season kicking off, and unfortunately we had to leave early, not by choice, but rules and regulations. But I took that on the chin, and it's all about picking up from where we started off, and finding growth along the way.
Yeah, that was 2020, right?
Correct.
When you're okay.
Yeah, that was 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's been a long journey. It's just unfortunately the pandemic didn't help much of the sport. Pretty much the sport has died down everywhere except maybe a few countries during that period, and it is what it is. We just have to take that on the chin and keep going.
Yeah, we're getting back, man.
Absolutely. Getting back.
Ok, my friends, I will speak and give grande abraço. Saudações da equipa de futebol americano Brasil, Henrique Riffel, after Bernardo Costa, boa noite, and Filipe Carreiro, give the same things. Dart, aqui abraço para o Dart. And Dart,
Dart's the number one fan of the Maia Mutts.
That's my guy right there. That's a
good picture
guy.
with Awal.
Yeah, that's a good guy right there.
you need to use the Dart to work in the mutts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Recruit him.
Yeah, I could utilize
Bring him to the team.
Well, I could utilize him wherever he needs. He feels comfortable. Wherever he feels comfortable, he could be right along with me.
Hey, we have been telling him that for months, so I hope you get him.
No, absolutely, that's the goal.
Aqui o Awal a dizer que vai utilizar aqui o Dart. E também o Tiago Fidalgo a dizer um olá a todos. Um abraço, Tiago.
Boa noite.
Boa noite. Awal, when finish this program, probably speak a lot of Portuguese more. Awal, dizer Devils Navigators, dia 26 de maio, 19 horas, sábado, no Fofó, Futebol Benfica, e depois ali ao pé do mercado do Benfica, e depois no domingo, este próximo domingo, Mutts Renegades, 27 de maio, ou seja, no dia 27 domingo, às 15 horas, no Complexo Municipal de Cutamas, Maia. Julgo que é assim que se diz, fui consultar. Awal, in this year, when you start the coaching and the program, returned into Mutts or start the work in Mutts, what do you think, or what in your perspective, about your opinion about Mutts?
Well, I was fortunate enough to play against them in a championship game when I was last here in 2018. And also I was fortunate enough to face them several times in my time of being in Portugal. So throughout the years, I've just like many other teams out here, I've noticed that there's a lot of talent, and the Mutts had that. They had a lot of talent. They had a lot of guys that were hungry for football, and it was just bringing the football culture into the Porto Mutts. I'm sorry, into the Maia Mutts now.
It's a lot of confusion. It's better we tell only Mutts. Every time I find the location, Porto, Maia, Gaia.
Yeah, it's one of those things, but the good thing is they've created an identity for themselves, and I'm glad to be on this journey with them. Started off with management, great management. They picked things up right where they left off from previous guys, and they're just running along with it. And quite honestly, like I said, I'm glad to be working with them. I've seen a change in things. The one thing that we always have to preach here, and I hope this message goes to everybody, every team that, every person that plays football and watches, it's just understanding that the game of football is, it's about a little bit of sacrifice, okay? And just like I tell most of my guys, your body is like a piece of steak, you're gonna bang it, you're gonna bang it, you're gonna bang it. You expect the steak to remain the same, at the end of the day, it doesn't remain the same. After a period of time, you cool off and let your body heal. But again, that you have to, during the season, you have to come to practice, and that's a very important thing across the league that should go. That's an important message that I need to go across the league, just because we're in a country that it's taken over a little bit by soccer, and understanding that certain things about football starts with a culture, and that the culture is showing up to practice, and that's for everybody across the board. And once you show up to practice and you're able to learn, and you're gonna get hurt, you're gonna be banged up a little bit, but it's okay as long as you show up and learn and improve the sport. You're just gonna keep getting better,
Yeah, for sure. And Júlio, queres avançar?
Sim, well, one of the things I want to ask you is that from the first time that you were here, the last time you were here to now, have you seen like bigger difference? Like, where do you put the teams? Like, are we better? Are we worse?
Well, since I was last year, there's a few teams that dropped, for obvious reasons, but overall across the board, I've seen the level of football get into the next stages of where it needs to get. I see players getting better, both north and south, because I pay attention all around the globe, and the only difference is we just have to get I hate to share this on here, but once the officiating gets to the same level as how the players are developing themselves, it's gonna be at a way better pace. Not only for myself, because I hate being a target. I'm here to develop the sport. I'm here to, most importantly, show that I care about the people in Portugal. And that's a very important thing to me. And I just I don't like to be in a position where the sport is not growing, and I feel like I'm just being targeted a little bit. So that's all across the globe. Like I said, all across Portugal, the sport is elevated. Teams are getting better, players are getting better. They're understanding the culture. It's just as simple as a few teams having their field painted. Having football lines there. This shows me that the culture of football is shifting a little bit. So with things of that nature, it's just about elevating our officiating and caring more, and maybe implementing a few things that's going to help those guys as well. If it's summertime 7-on-7 leagues or summertime flag football leagues, that way to keep these guys in the sport, not a period of time outside of the sport.
Yeah, for sure. And regarding the refereeing, one of the things, and I think we can approach this a little bit later in the show when we talk about flag football, because that's another thing that could be and that should be one of the ways that referees can improve. Correct. is being a part of flag football too. But correct. I think we can talk about that a little bit later. One of the things that we have been talking here a lot, and I can talk personally because since I started coaching, I remember, and these guys for sure remember, and probably people at home are gonna hear it again and saying, hey, he's gonna repeat himself, but I don't care. Since my first year of coaching, I made sure that I talked to the directors and told them, hey, please send emails to the federation, the referees, everybody, that our practices are open to the referees that want to come to our practices and during our scrimmage practice. And after all these years, I still think that this, and obviously just my opinion, but I still think that this could be the best way for the referees to improve all along the year, not only in a specific time of the year with a course or a workshop or whatever, because that's not enough.
Correct.
That's not enough. They need to practice like we practice every week.
Correct.
A player that practices once a month or once every 2 months is not going to play well.
Correct.
The referees is the same thing. So I think the clubs, the teams, are part of the solution. I believe, because if we don't get like hands-on on this problem, referees by themselves, they can't do a lot. Obviously, that there's the personal part that every referee, like every coach, like every player, has to want to learn to improve. That's their part.
Absolutely.
But they need the field, they need the players, they need the game.
Correct.
And I think we're part of it. I think
absolutely. And hence to what I said, and like you said, that's conversation for later. It's we end a lot of things during the summer. The league ends May, so during that period, and we have a lot of rookies. You're always going to have a lot of rookies. This is your way of implementing the sport and helping those guys out during that period. Bring them in. During the summertime, work on your refereeing. It helps those guys as well. And at the end of the day, it's a fair trade for both parties. It doesn't necessarily, because at the end of the day, how I view it is, we have referees that are somewhat players, and things of that nature. So that it just avoids the conflict of somebody being at your practice, and that's a big conflict that we're trying to avoid right there. Right? I personally am trying to avoid that, but if we get a set crew of guys that that's your job, that's great. Summertime, they're able to be consistent and be all across the board with it.
Yeah, you know what? I know what you mean, but honestly, after all these years, and I talked to this with Julia. I talked about this before. Is honestly at this point, I'm willing to let like other players, because you're right. Some referees are players, and that's it is what it is. It's right now. It shouldn't be, but right now we need that, because if those guys those guys we have to give them credit, because they're players, they're referees, and we need them. And right now, I'm willing to leave let those guys come in, and hey, we're gonna scrimmage today. We're not gonna do anything fancy, but at least we have our regular practice, and at least the refs have some practice, because honestly, we need that, because if we don't have referees, we're not gonna play.
Right.
I have been telling this to everybody, and even during the pandemic, and actually, like some months ago, I wouldn't believe that we had enough referees to start the season. And I'm really glad they got more referees, because during the tournament, the Fundadores that we played, we had like 4 refs. And once the league starts, and I'm glad that it happened. Like, I don't know where they came. I know where they came from, but they got called, and I'm glad they're in. But we need more refs.
Right. And to add on to that, we have a big community of people in the Lisbon area, I could say, speaking with a numerous amount of people. And these guys are looking for the opportunity to be part of football. They no longer want to be associated with the playing part of things or coaching part of things, and they want to get into that atmosphere, which is being a referee. And I believe whoever in charge should look into that. There's a good amount of people that are looking for those positions. It's just about giving them a chance.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, if you want to give me a contact, or I can send them on the way of the person who runs the refereeing. So
absolutely. I'll share the message and we'll be in contact.
One of those refs that plays and does a lot of things. Also, it's me.
Right.
This year they let me referee again.
Right.
And sometimes it's hard.
Referee.
Right.
Sometimes it's hard because you're going in there as a ref, and most of the other teams see you as a guy from. They look at me and they see, oh, that's the guy from the Crusaders,
Right.
and they're like, oh, he's gonna probably do something to that will arm our chances in the game.
Right.
So I think that sometimes the guys have to let that go and think what Rinka just said, that if there's no reps, there's no game.
Right.
And there was a huge problem with the reps for the Crusaders and Navigators game, and in a few weeks it will be another problem again because of the on the field there were 7 refs that were playing, and then they had 4 refs in the south zone on the south region to ref a game. So that brings a lot of problems.
Right. And in my time being here, I haven't had much of a problem or issue with guys from different teams as far as feeling a certain way about them. But just culturally, I understand. For me, that's just the way I kind of move with that. But I understand exactly where you're coming from with that.
Yeah, and again, and I think that, and picking the example of when you were here the first time, Awal,
correct,
is I honestly think that we're better in terms of
almost everything.
No, we're better in terms of giving the refs a little break. Because like 3-4 years ago, I think the clubs didn't communicate a lot between them, and they were kind of close, and the other team was always the other team.
Right.
It's the other guys, and I think we improved a little, and it's a chance for us to also improve. And I think we're a little better too regarding the referees. Is let those guys do their job.
Absolutely.
Because that's another problem is imagine a guy that comes to a game and he's kind of thinking, okay, I'm not going to play, but I can try this referee thing.
Absolutely.
But then he sees a game that the referees are getting like killed by the players every play.
Correct.
And getting like talked at and swarming around the referees. That guy's not gonna want to do. Hey, maybe I'll try something else.
You're
and
absolutely right about that.
Yeah, we have to pay attention to.
No, you're absolutely right about that. And that's even the one thing. And I tell my guys here, and I, tell my guys, as long as you play for me, you don't talk to the referees, because at the end of the day, they're there to do their job. And that's the one thing I preach a lot, is because those referees do not. We're in a country where soccer is a dominant sport, and so for every little thing, somebody has to say something. And that feeds into the referee, who is probably new into the sport or whatever the case might be. Yeah. So my thing is, my guys could vouch for this, is we don't speak to them. We don't. If something was to happen, nobody says a word. They know that they're there to play football, and they just go next play. Whatever happens next play, that's what we have to do. And that's the biggest thing. And if that could go across the whole league, and everybody understands that, let the referees do their job, and we don't need to be cheerleaders on the sideline. We just need to be football players, which we are. Let us play football. whatever the referee calls, he calls it, and then let the coaches and the referees talk, and that's it. We don't need everybody bouncing on top of these guys and trying to, because at the end of the day, you might not know the same rules.
There's still a lot of that soccer mentality. Everybody goes to a soccer stadium, they see that the ref he gets chewed for everything, even if there's an offside. Like, oh no, are you blind? Everything good, but the man was offside, and no, nobody cares about that.
Right.
Yeah, and there's another thing that I don't know if everybody like pays attention to this, but I'm at my games, our games, and I watch game film from every team, and I see more people in the stands.
Absolutely.
And this is a thing that the most of those people, it's the first time, or they're starting to watch football, and we're in Portugal, like you said, Awal is a soccer mentality, and we have to get fans. Right. And one of the things that we have against us is the timing of the game. It's really different. And one of the things is, it takes too long. There's a lot of stoppage time. Right. If we're talking to the referees, and the referees like spend the double of the time to make decisions, those people are not going to be there for 3 hours or 4 hours.
Absolutely.
So that's another thing. We need to keep the game like going with quality. Right. But there's no point in like starting an argument with the referee like for 10 minutes. Right. Because there's people in the stands.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, despite of both teams facing each other, they still create entertainment at the end of the day. Entertainment for the fans. Yes. And with this being entertainment for the fans, we shouldn't be in the habit of we have to act professional. You know, and that's all across the world, all across Portugal. You just have to be professional. Be professional and let them do their jobs. We don't need everybody speaking to them. And then the day, you know, the game is going to flow how it's going to flow. You know, whichever decision they choose to make, we just have to take it and run with it. You know, and like you said, the biggest thing is just being professional and just staying out of those guys' way. You know, and that's the one thing I do. I try to do a good job of. You know, let them be. You know, of course, everybody views me as the guy that comes from the U.S. and thinks he knows the rules, but I try not to do that here because one, I respect the game of football, and I respect the way it evolves, you know. And with the game evolving here, certain things I cannot harp on these guys on, you know. I have to let them. I could later maybe talk to them about it afterwards, you know. Let them know, hey, just let it roll or whatever the case might be. That way, create something for fans as well. The more fans we're able to get, the more. You never know who's trying to sponsor you. You know?
Yeah.
Like that. Like imagine that you were a person that went to that Renegades Lions game that they said the game took 4 hours. Right. Somebody that goes to that game, the first football game they see, it's that they're like, I'm not coming back to this. It's like 4 hours every time. The game already has a like it's known.
A stigma.
A stigma, exactly, for being slow and taking a lot of time. Correct. If the first game of somebody goes, it's 4 hours, but it's all they need to never come back and never watch again.
Correct.
Another thing I think is important to think. I think sincerely, I think is a bad experience practically if you try to be a referee. If you can start play American football, or watching or work with the teams, but and I think is a good experience. If you try the first topic in American football is you try to referee, to be a referee in the game in Portugal, I think it isn't a good experience. And it's important to think all people in American football think this. if you don't have the first experience isn't very, very bad because, okay, I don't have a good knowledge about American football. I try. I don't have trainings because I have 1 or 2 times to understand the rules. If I have a bad experience, probably I never try again.
Right.
And the people needs to think this. I'm very bad guy with the referees in Portugal, but in American football I try a lot. I think I try. Okay,
He's learning. He's learning.
And no, I try. And I, in my opinion, okay, you try to do your work, and I try to do my work.
Right.
Ok, try to have commentaries, comentários lá de casa, o Hernani e Madaleno, a dizer que aqui o coach para não lhe dar aqui
so that goes in hand. You know, I have a stigma on me, and unfortunately, I hate that has to be the case, but you know.
O Dart, o que é que ele diz? Can talk about your experience in China?
Já falou.
Well,
Já falamos.
Spoke about, about this. And Wilson.
Wilson.
Olha, Will.
Abraço.
Wilson Rocha.
Dizer
abraço
que
para
quem está
ti.
lá em casa.
Abraço para ti.
Quem não percebe nada de inglês e esta parte não percebeu, tivemos a falar da arbitragem e da necessidade de nós criarmos árbitros e criarmos capacidade de arbitragem e não seguimos o futebol nos maus exemplos. Dizer que este programa é apoiado pelo Fodes Lounge Sports Bar and Bistro, bar disponível na Avenida Duque de Lolé, número 49, que não refilam com árbitros, aceitam que todos os árbitros possam ir lá comer um hambúrguer e ver o futebol americano em Portugal. Eu há pouco, e por isso é que eu estava aqui a tentar ver, a confirmar, enganei-me, disse que efetivamente os Mutts e os Renegades iriam, digamos assim, fazer a volta. Estão 2-0 para os Mutts, os Warriors 2-1, perderam um jogo, ganharam 2, os Renegades ganharam 1, perderam outro, e os Lions perderam 3 jogos. Se a informação não estiver errada, e passem pelo nosso... vou compartilhar aqui a tela. Passem pelo nosso Instagram, que aqui o nosso Instagram tem lá as informações todas, e dizer então aqui que os Mutts, se ganharem, ficam com uma excelente vantagem. Os Renegades entram na luta do primeiro lugar se tiverem aqui a vitória sobre os Mutts neste próximo domingo. Este próximo domingo. Na Zona Sul, os Crusaders vão de vento em popa, 3-0. Os Lisboa Devils e os Lisboa Navigators empatados com uma vitória e uma derrota, e que se vão defrontar este sábado. Às 19 horas no Fofó. Vão até lá ver o jogo dos Devils Navigators. Eu acho que esta jornada promete ser uma jornada em cheio, com 2 jogos super interessantes. E por isso vão até aos estádios ver os jogos. Tiago Fidalgo também tell this, good luck to the next game, probably to Awal. Awal, try put again in English. Change the idea. For about this league, what do you think? You can show the games. You to have time to prepare the games. What do you think the teams? You have a good opinion about all teams. What's your opinion specifically?
Well, in those regards, you might have to ask me specifically what teams. But if I was to give a general perspective on every team, I would say I'm watching everybody, and I could say that the level of football again once again has improved. I see that with you guys in the Crusaders down south. I see that with everybody down south. Sharks as well. And the same thing with the teams up north. We have teams like we were talking about with the Lions and Renegades.
Warriors.
They had a game here. Quite honestly, regardless of what happened, overall, I believe that both of those teams, with what they have going on, they're doing great. They're doing great all across the board, and both teams have a great future. And it's just about really, tweaking a few little things, and it's just gonna make the league more competitive all around.
We played that. We played with Lions in the Fundadores, and I saw them play on Saturday, and they're two different teams. This Lions team would drop a 40 burger on that last year's Lions team. They're really they've improved a lot.
Yeah, and quite honestly, just from the first game, watching them on, it's improvement after improvement, and it goes with every team in the league. But specifically for them, it's being the newest team in the league. I see them doing great things. It's all about just changing a few dynamics of the team, and getting a few key players and key things, and just overall learning the sport. And once those guys are able to learn the sport in the right way, I believe that they're going to be a very good team. And that goes for the Renegades as well, the Warriors, and every team from the Sharks, Navigators, Crusaders, and anybody. It's just about learning the game and staying committed. And just like we talked about, it's just about putting in more time into the sport. The more time we put into it, the more we learn out of it.
Okay, I'm gonna get a little bit more specific now in terms of questions.
All right.
So, I heard a lot of Oliveira. He played with you in the Dragons a little bit. He's at the PT football show that you went, and I heard him talk.
Oliveira plays.
Yeah, he plays. Yeah, and I heard him talk a lot about when you were with the Dragons, that project. And one of the things that he keeps talking is the importance of the physical part in your practice during that time with that team, with that personnel. So at this point in the Mutts, now you're with the Mutts. With this context, with this personnel, do you still give that amount of importance to the physical and to the time and to the amount of time that you spend in practice with the physical part?
Absolutely. That's never going to change as long as I'm coaching. Reason being, one, football is a tough game, and regardless of how we put it, and it takes a lot of physical. It takes mind control. It takes physical control. Everything across the board, and it's all about what you could do when you're tired. It's all about what you could do when you're not tired, and if you're coachable. So those are the very very important things to me. When I get around a bunch of guys, regardless of where I go, it's one thing I want to make sure is, are you coachable? I don't like when people come up to me and tell me I know. Okay, so if you know, why didn't you do it?
I know what you mean, man.
So that's one thing I don't agree with. So as long as you're coachable, if you're very coachable, I'm gonna do beyond up, and I'll do everything I can just to make sure you're the greatest athlete you are on the field. And a lot of people could vouch for me. A lot of people that maybe a few of them are down south, or a few of them up north that I've played with or coached. They could tell you that I have a one-way. I have no friends when I'm on the football field. Regardless of how long I've known you, I have no friends, because at the end of the day, I play to win, and I'm not playing to be a cheater. I'm not playing to be any of the above. But at the end of the day, I play to win, because I know what it takes in order to be at that level. You have to work hard.
I don't know if I can have one more question for this subject.
Yeah.
But the last I keep like comparing the both projects. I hope you don't mind, but it's
Absolutely,
I think
absolutely.
it's natural. Yeah, it's so when you were with the Dragons, you were also the quarterback.
Correct.
And right now, at least for the game that you played,
Mm-hmm.
Brian played the quarterback, and you played on defense.
Correct.
So in terms of a system, offensive system,
Mm-hmm.
do you think that the difference between you playing quarterback and not playing quarterback is gonna take a weight on your decision making in terms of, okay, we're gonna play for this system because obviously Brian and you are different quarterbacks, so this difference in terms of reality is gonna affect in a good way to make those decisions.
Right. First, I have a good group of guys that help me all across the board, which guys like Miguel Vasconcelos and guys like Felix, guys like Nuno, which are guys that Felix, you guys probably don't know, but these are a few key guys that help me all across the board. With that being said, they take a lot off my plate with a lot of my decision making. Okay, and what I try to do is I try to put everybody in the best situation for them to feel comfortable. So it doesn't impact us in such a negative way or such a more so positive than anything, you know. So with Brian being our quarterback, you know, we have to do things that make him feel comfortable, you know. And as long as he's comfortable, I feel like he has a chance of being the greatest quarterback we have, you know. And that's just most important for me is making sure he's comfortable and make sure the guys around him are comfortable with him in that position. So, because for me, as you know me, and most people who know me, I go by DB Wall. So, with that being said, you know that's where I get my bread and butter at.
Yeah, you're a defensive guy.
That's what I am.
No, it's funny because a lot of people when they watch especially the offensive part of the game, and they see, oh, it's the same system. The quarterback changed, but it's always the same system. And I have a little bit of example on that because through all my coaching seasons, my coaching years, I had 4 different quarterbacks, and people still say, I still hear people saying, "Oh yeah, you guys played the same for years,"
right?
And this is because people see us like in a spread formation and in a spread system. But
I like you guys' offense, by the way.
What?
I said I like you guys' offense, by the way.
Thanks, man. But if I heard this, but I think to myself, the game that we played when we had like Thomas at quarterback, and then we had Farano quarterback, then we had Matias, we had Silva a little bit in between, and our way of playing changed so much. But people still say that, okay, you play the same. And it's funny because it's real different between us coaches inside the field and during practices and people that watch the game. So you were talking about that, and I can relate to that. Is that the thing is what, especially the quarterback position, what puts this guy in a better position to play well. Right. And if we have to change things as a coach, I think we should.
Absolutely. And that's the only way you're gonna make guys feel comfortable, and you can see the level of the sport improving, you know. Because the worst thing you could do is put a guy in a position where he does not feel comfortable, and he's just having to do things and play like a robot. With that being said, you put the game in jeopardy, you put the team in jeopardy, and things of that nature. So. I'm really happy for Brian. You know, he's done a great job. When he's here, he's able to put in a lot of work, and he's able to lead the guys the way he's supposed to. You know, overall, it's just the guys respect him from the rookies and everybody else, and it's just about he's learning with me as well. There's certain things that he might pick up that he might have not done a few years ago that help him in his game. But at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. We're here to help each other and improve from there.
Great.
E take advantage of this, dizer que este programa é apoiado pelo Fotos Lounge Sports Bar and Bistro e qualquer quarterback da Liga Portuguesa de Futebol Americano será muito bem tratado no Fotos Lounge Sports Bar e escolham o vosso hambúrguer ou
you have to go there, man.
Yes, it's very nice.
When you come to Lisbon, go there.
Absolutely, I'll make sure of that.
And try to give comments.
Tell him Victor sent you.
Ok, we'll do.
Dart, podem falar sobre o porquê dos Crusaders terem sido cancelados, não dava para jogar no outro dia. Meu caro, muito rapidamente, é a realidade. Faltaram e não foi possível agendar e pronto, e ficou assim. Havemos de falar melhor no próximo programa sobre todas estas questões que foram feitas. Pena, mas íamos levar uma molha, principalmente eu, na transmissão. E dizer aqui, o David fez aqui uma very nice question. Can you rate the QBs in Portugal? Can you try? Awal?
Good one.
So, rating wise, I wouldn't give you, I couldn't give you a top, but the first person I would give praise to is Brian. Reason being, he's my quarterback, and also he puts in a lot of work, and he's so far he showed us nothing but how great he could be at his position. And I put Brian first. Next and foremost, I would say I like you guys' quarterback, Crusaders. I believe Matthias,
yeah.
Yeah, I like him as well.
Manuel Matias.
Right. I like Matthias. I like Renegade's quarterback. I'm blanking. Francisco. I like Francisco. I like Warriors quarterback. Humble guy. Doesn't talk much, but I could see he's always.
I love that, man.
Renada.
I love him as well. I haven't picked much. I see the Lions have a change of quarterbacks, so we're still seeing how that guy does. And Navigators is quite honestly, they're doing great. For being where they where it used to be, I see them doing. They're just improving. They're improving.
Yeah.
And I like that. And if I'm missing any teams,
Devils and
the Devils as well.
Sharks.
Yeah. Sharks, Devils. Those. I couldn't pick you a top five or top whatever. I could say that on my end, I love the way how Brian is playing. He's doing a tremendous job, and overall, I'm loving every quarterback that I've seen so far. They're doing a tremendous job, and I see, being a quarterback, you have to be a team leader. And being a team leader, I see each one of those guys doing that. And all across the board.
Yeah, you passed the question. Yes, because you put Matias Manuel in second. In your perspective, I like to put another this type of questions.
Right.
The clubs, who is the more in more good position to win, and the four teams to pass the next playoffs
To the playoffs.
To the playoffs.
To the playoffs. Quite honestly, we're roughly at the 500 mark of the season for most teams. Yeah. So with that being said, I don't put anything past anybody. Everybody has the opportunity of making the playoffs still. And it's all about how much you're willing to put in, and how much sacrifice you're willing to make as well. We have teams that are 0-3, but they could turn out 3-3 by the end of the season. It just depends on how they look at things and how they're able to put things in perspective. So for me, I don't want to short any team, but I know that on my end, my guys are working towards that. The end goal is not to play football just to win another game. It's to play football. Yeah, sure, it's to win every game we play, but we're playing with an end goal at the end, which is a championship. So I just ask that, everybody works hard on our end and, just do what they're supposed to do, which is their job.
Yes, we'll accept this. I don't like. I prefer when
it's okay.
This and this. Okay, no problem.
I've had some media training back in the day. No worries.
Yeah, it shows. It shows, man. It shows. You could be in the NFL right now.
Yes, NFL. Ok, dizer lá em casa que
Antes, olha que ainda tenho uma só, mas não demora nada. Mas ainda tenho.
Espera, wait a moment. Este programa é apoiado pelo Fontes Lounge Sports Bar e lá podem discutir quem é que são as equipas que vão passar aos playoffs, já que o Awal não se quis comprometer, apenas dizer que os Mutts vão passar e mais nada. Mas pronto. Eu não disse isto, mas pessoal lá em casa, dizer que temos das 16 pessoas que estão a ver um like no Facebook e no YouTube há pouco estavam 6 likes. Pá, metam lá um like, se faz favor.
Só por causa disso.
Só para nos melhorar aqui as coisas e se nos ajudarmos a todos. Isto fica melhor e hoje o Awal merece aqui o melhor número de likes. Peço desculpa por fazer muita coisa ao mesmo tempo, não é-me difícil, sou homem. Paul Trinca, try to put a question.
I have a quick question, but not for now. It's a question to answer at the end of the show. So you're going to have time a little bit to think about it. Can you share with us like a funny story inside the context of American football in Portugal? And it can be like with your time with the Dragons or this moment right now, but those funny stories that we have in the trips or locker room or training camps or whatever. But I'm going to give you until the end of the show to talk a little bit, if you can share it with us.
Okay.
Vitor, força.
Não, era para avançar. Podes avançar tu. O que é que queres que eu faça?
Então, não vais mudar de tema? We're going to change subjects now, right?
Yes.
First serious. Let me just very serious question. What's your NFL team?
Yes, I will put this question.
So I'm going to be very upfront with. So growing up, I used to have favorite teams that I root for, but over the years, I understand just for me, as I evolve in the sport, I like personnels, I like coaching styles, and I like personnels and coaching styles.
You're a Bills fan. Okay, you're a Bills fan.
So if I was
please
to say,
finish the program. We can't continue.
We have to explain. We have to explain this to you, man.
That
was funny.
Yes, it's all. In the finish,
that's this guy's problem.
In the next month or another day, you tell, I'm a Willie. What's the club? I don't. Sorry, I don't remember.
How coisa?
Não, estou com o teu clube, pá, caraças. Sorry. The Paul Trinca have the same attitude, but in the past long time ago, I don't know exactly, but every time we put the question and Trinca, no, I don't have the clubs. I like you very well. Blah, blah, blah,
but it
blah,
was
blah,
true.
blah.
No, but it's true.
The one thing about that is, you might root for a team, but also you like a certain coach, the way he coaches, and things change. Hey, players leave after a year, after 2 years,
Yes,
so
I
personally cannot be a fan of somebody that's just losing game, just because I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I like the idea of just being a fan, but I like the idea of winning also, and I like the idea of somebody putting something that that makes me enjoy the game. So, but if I was to pick a team, if I was to pick a team, which I really don't have one, but if I was to pick a team, just how their playing style is, I'll say Kansas City.
Okay.
I'm not a Kansas City fan. I'm not a Kansas City. You know, I like the way they play. You know, I like the way the team plays overall. And
Is it is simple? No problem.
No.
You
No, but these
and the
guys-
Trinca can tell the club, okay,
No,
no,
I can-
problem.
I can-
I'm-
no, but I-
like the Falcons.
No, these guys.
right.
Why not?
No, these guys are making fun of me because for years
Right.
I had the same response, and I think it's pretty natural.
Right.
I didn't have any team.
Right.
I like you said, I like systems. I like teams or players.
Right.
But these guys kept pushing and pushing.
Right.
And last year I started to connect a little bit
Right.
with the Bills, and right now I can tell them, I'm a Bills fan for now.
So let's hope you have that same opinion in a year or two.
Yeah, let's see.
Let's hope so.
No, but since Josh Allen went there, I really like the way they play.
Absolutely.
I think he turned that way of playing around, not only offensive, but even in the defense, things change a little bit. And I think it's because of the kid. Like you said, you were talking about the leadership in the quarterback position.
Correct.
And I think that kid has a lot of that.
Absolutely.
The way he plays, he puts the defense in good spots. Like the defense know if they fail, they'll have a quarterback to bail him, and vice versa.
Right.
He knows if he fails, his defense is gonna bail him out.
Right. Now, overall, they're a good team. Overall, I enjoyed watching them this past season. You know,
I don't.
I mean,
I'm a Dolphins fan, so I got to play them twice a year.
The face in. Hey, Walters.
It's okay.
Dolphins.
They're a good team. You know, it's about.
No, they're not, man.
It's about
no, they're not. No.
You know, listen, I personally, you know, when it comes to watching football, I like watching guys like Tom Brady play. You know, but you know, it's how the system of football is evolving. You know, there are not too many quarterbacks there just staying in the pocket like he is. You know, and everybody's the more and more as the RPO system is being inflated into the league. You know, quarterbacks are changing. You know, they're changing.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
So with that being said, it's like, I can love Tom Brady, but he just fits in his system.
Right. Well, do you guys know who's the youngest pocket passer in the league? And it's probably Matt Ryan or something like that, because all the other quarterbacks, they're mobile quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, that tells you.
Exactly.
Sure.
And he's 36,
Right.
something like that.
Yeah, I'm sure Vitor wants to talk about Matt Ryan today.
Right. Well, no, for me, I hate to.
I got Mariota.
I don't. Oh, so you're a Falcons
Why
fan?
not?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Vitor is. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So with that being said, you know, I enjoy watching the Falcons. I'm from Atlanta, but for many years I wanted to trade with quarterbacks. Not being a fan, just being a fan of football. You know, I felt like it could have changed the dynamic of how the Falcons played. But again, that's just me speaking.
Yeah.
But you know, maybe the Falcons do good this year. I see, you know, maybe a change of the. Not sure about, you know, Mariota, but we'll see. See what happens.
So Vitor, we're already at the NFL subject, right?
Yes. Wait
Okay.
a moment, because only put more commentaries. Tiago Fidalgo.
There we go. Let's go
let's
Browns.
go.
I like
Let's go Browns.
that's a good.
The Memphis, big change now.
There we go.
A big change.
There we go.
Okay.
A big change that will play. I don't know. I'm gonna bet on week 10. That's when his fine's gonna be up. He's gonna get fined by the NFL. So
Yeah, I believe so as well. It's going to be
by week 10 he'll play.
Yeah, it's a lot of trades going on, so you never know what's going to really happen this upcoming season. It's a whole lot of trades.
So for you, Awal, and for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
what's going to be the one of these from all these trading quarterback that got trade, which one of them is going to be the most successful in your opinion?
Oof, that's hard to say. In my opinion, I'm excited to see what who went to the Broncos.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he does out there. Just knowing his system of playing, and I'm curious to know how they look this year. But that's probably the only person I'm really I've paid attention to really see how they're gonna adjust to things out there.
Yeah,
they didn't have such a great season like years prior, but
they didn't have quarterback.
Right.
That's the main problem.
Yeah. Right. So,
and I don't know what was worse to the Seahawks, losing Russell Wilson or getting Drew Lock. We'll see what was worse.
Yeah,
Julie too. Julie.
That's gonna be exciting.
The I'm not going for the QBs. The thing that I got like the most it was the most surprising for me was Devontae Adams going to the Raiders to get back with his buddy Derek Carr,
right,
from the college times where they played together, and
his buddy.
Yeah,
he got back with his buddy.
He deserves it.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
No, but especially because he got how many franchise tags? Like this was the third, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. So the man he deserves it. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No,
and we'll see, because
there's gonna be a lot of competition in California, in Vegas this next season. All the teams are pretty solid. San Francisco is solid. A lot of solid teams out there this upcoming year.
And one thing I'll pay more attention this year is I saw this graphic where they were saying they were putting the quarterbacks and the double edge rushers of the AFC West, and that looks scary for everybody, especially the quarterbacks, because they posted the quarterbacks of the Broncos, the Chiefs, the Raiders, and the Chargers. They posted their quarterbacks, and then the edges, the rushers.
Because of
I'm gonna be
Khalil Mack, right?
Yeah. There's Bosa and Khalil Mack on the Chargers.
Right.
Max Crosby and Randy Gregory on the Raiders.
Right.
It's Clark, and I can't remember the name of the other guy on the Chiefs.
You got me with the Chargers, man.
Yeah, Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa and Joey.
Yeah,
it's Joey. I don't know which Bosa is.
Bosa.
Joey. Nick. Nick. It's in the San Francisco, and
it's gonna be tough.
If they're healthy, they're gonna be scary, man.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. That's help again.
It's gonna be great games, yeah.
Hence why I have no favorite team. It's just you never know what to expect. It's like
you never lose. You're in for the sport.
There we go.
You always win.
Yeah, that's why I usually I see like, I don't know, 6 or 7 games a week during the NFL season. So that's a good thing, not having a team. One team that I'm gonna and within this subject still, the team that I want to really see is the Colts with Matt Ryan, because I think for years they were, since Andrew Luck left.
Right.
I think they were searching for a quarterback. They never had it, in my opinion. And now I think he's a good quarterback for that system because the O-line, I'm a fan of that O-line for years.
Yeah.
And it's not just Nelson. All the other guys, I think, and the running game, it has been great for years.
Right.
But they don't throw the ball. So, and when they throw it, usually gets picked. So I think with Matt Ryan can solve that. I think.
Yeah, you know, I have a lot of good and bad to say about Matt Ryan, but I just hope he does good in that system or he lasts.
You don't like him?
I mean, I personally didn't like him in the Falcon system, but he might fit perfectly.
It could be a system thing, right?
Yeah. You know, we had one receiver he always looked at, and with that one receiver you're always paying attention to. At the end of the day, he becomes locked, and who do you go to next? And you can never adjust to that properly, and it's always going to be like that. But let's see what he does. I'm excited to see what he does this upcoming year, though.
Yeah,
sure.
I'll be cheering for the
My friends, we start NFL topics, and I can't. I receive a lot of comments. We need another program to speak about NFL. Já me perdi.
Olha, ainda tínhamos ir. Não sei se temos tempo para o Flake.
É isso. Pessoal lá em casa, peço imensa desculpa. Nós vamos pedir ao Awal para vir novamente um dia destes e vamos falar um pouco mais sobre a realidade da NFL e também sobre algumas coisas que foram aqui, algumas perguntas que ficaram. Vou tentar concentrá-las e depois temos aqui 5 minutos. Tínhamos aqui um topic to speak about flag football. Paul Trinca, in Portuguese or in English? Try.
I can speak in English.
Why not?
alguma queixa? Do you have any complaint?
No, I think
comments? In the comments.
No.
In the comments. No, it's fine.
Now we start to speak every time in English because we have a lot of people follow this video. I know.
It's because
I try for my English.
All right, you guys doing a great job. Doing a great job. I love the questions, by the way.
Yeah.
Paulo, flag football.
No, so aí agora não, Vitor. A tua net.
Foste tu.
Aí foi lá.
Bora.
Diz.
Flag football, Paulo.
So we're talking about, and I think that can be, and I'm going to keep it short, but one of the things that flag football can bring besides players, even though that I honestly don't like to talk about flag football exclusively like the bridge to tackle football. I think flag football has its own place in everywhere, actually. But in Portugal, flag football is per se a sport. But one thing besides players that flag could and should bring to the sports is referees. Correct. And we were talking about referees using flag football to improve, to start giving taking their first steps into the sport.
Correct.
But I have to say something that and I'm part of the flag football project, Academia Crusaders, for a while, and I have to say something is the referees are not with the flag football. We have a lot of trouble getting referees in our tournaments. I honestly don't know why. Because I don't know if it's a federation thing. The thing that I know is the clubs that organize the tournaments, and we have been doing that. Every team that organizes the tournaments, usually they or they don't get any response, or the response is really late, and usually it's a no. And honestly, I don't know why. And we might ask, and if people want to talk about this, great. Is why is that? And I don't know if you guys have any opinion, but I don't understand how, or a ref, or even the federation doesn't want to be part of something like this, because we're talking about kids. We're talking about a day it's literally it's like a party for the kids. The kids are there to have fun. So the refs that are going, and the refs that went in the past, they always had fun, always. So I don't get this, honestly.
Right. And that's a touchy subject for me, because that's something I really want to improvise, and not only that, add it to the league. Yeah, there's a bridge between football and tackle football and flag, but again, that's the better way to introduce the sport, I would say, a lot of times. Reason being, one, we understand we play a very aggressive sport. So if I see mom and her son walking in the park and I introduce her the first thing to tackle football, she's probably going to say no, But me introducing flag football and showing the proper equipment for flag and different things of that nature, she's going to be more at ease with accepting of that. With that being said, it's just the lack of knowledge. If I could say, just the lack of knowledge of the league itself. This is something that they're new to. I don't know. When I say they, I'm not putting any names specifically, but in my opinion, it's just they're still new to it, and they're not willing to take the risk. I'm not sure why, but I think that's the only way we can make this sport grow. Because at the end of the day, how we look at it is, we're all adults at some point. Everybody gets older, In order to bring these kids in, you start off from somewhere, And if it's ages 8 or whatever it is, and just start them off that way, because we could put it down the line. When we look at our guys, like one of my guys, Ricardo Cunha, a few other guys. These guys are well versed on what football is, and they started off in flag, And,
the quarterback of the Renegades, Francisco, he started with
yeah, correct. Guys like that, and these guys, and you can see how they evolve into the sport. It becomes almost second nature for them, and they're passionate about it. And as everybody is growing, we need to introduce this flag part of things, because again, the worst thing you could do is, bring a rookie in and put some pads on him and say, hey, run down there, catch the ball, and not expect to get hit. And, at least with certain things, you're going to understand how to position your body, how to do this and how to do that in order to compensate for what's going to happen to you, And I just think that's a good start for everybody, and especially rookies. Summertime, you're able to get a bunch of guys. Let's do something in the summer. Let's put out a league. If the league is not willing to participate or do anything in those regards, I just think that we have to come along as individuals, coaches throughout the league, and communicate with each other and just find a way. If we could find a way, at the end of the day, the worst thing we could hear is no, and if we hear no from the league, we have to find a way in order to keep our programs running.
Yeah. And one thing that I don't understand, and I'm just going to leave it like that, is we started a tackle league, and with all the difficulties, and I'm glad this is not a bad thing. We always had referees to every player, every game. Fortunately, we had no games canceled because of the lack of referees. But we don't have referees for the tournament. And I don't understand this. And I have to talk about this, because for me it hurts, because man, if you're not there for the kids, I honestly don't know. Obviously that some weeks some referees can, another referees can't. That's not the problem. The problem is we have no refs. And because the federation says that we can't send refs because of something or the date or whatever. Man, it doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to leave it at that. Talk a little.
And my response to that is, sure. Again, we can't put all our eggs in one basket when it comes down to that, And we have all across Portugal, I feel like we have a great group of veterans, from guys that have been playing football for over 10 years, or, that are able to be part of this. Let's involve them and let's help them learn the sport better. At the end of the day, it's we can't put all our eggs in one basket and depend on those guys. And this is nothing bad against them. It's just we have to grow, And so let's use our veteran guys and from each team, and we're able to come up as coaches and say, hey, let's get 2 guys from here, 2 guys from here, 2 guys from here, and we're able to run a tournament and have a fair game. That's great, And at the end of the day, it's gonna produce something instead of banking on those guys,
Yeah.
Okay.
First,
the final. No, my opinion is the big problem is all people don't look correctly in perspective to flag.
Right.
And okay, the tackle have we try every time. The flag, no problem.
Right.
The mentality is okay, no problem.
Right.
We do everything. We do everything for the tackle game.
Yes,
but we only do the minimum. For the flag turn.
Correct.
But let me just talk about this. We're talking about the old guys in a good way, because you're right.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. In Portugal, there's a lot of people that left the game, that played the game for years. And I honestly think that that's part of the solution, again, is to reach out to those people, bring them back, and use their abilities and their passion that they once had. And I'm sure that's there.
Right.
They just need to get a phone call, maybe.
Right. Absolutely.
And my thing is with the flag tournament. We had a flag tournament like 2 weeks ago.
Correct.
Because the teams are during the season, they're always trying to do those tournaments. And I challenge people and invite people. And when I say people, it's players, it's coaches, it's the tackle, the tackle people to go to the tournaments, and we all can learn a lot, because when we are in contact with those kids playing there, we learn a lot.
Absolutely.
And one thing that we learn is to have fun playing. Another thing is, the most important thing there is to play, and to play hard. It's not important what goes around the game itself.
Right. Absolutely.
And the kids teach us they teach us this.
Right.
And I invite people to be part of the tournaments, the clubs, even the clubs that don't have a flag team, to show up, to watch, to be part of that, to cheer the kids. And another thing is, the teams that have those projects are the teams that they learn. And it's not only the teams that are going to have more players to the future. It's not only that. The teams learn how to organize an event, learn how to communicate with people that are there to watch the kids. They exchange contacts with people that are there because of only the game.
Right.
And again, I keep saying this, is everybody has a lot to gain if they give a little bit more to the flag project in Portugal.
Absolutely. And the biggest thing, it starts with the kids, and it's always going to be like that. And regardless of what sport you play, if you don't pay attention to the kids, the sport is just going to die, And I'm just glad. I'm glad you guys are aware of that. And that's the one thing we have to teach the youth, regardless of what it is in the sport, we have to teach the youth. And without the youth, there's nothing,
Yeah.
We're just doing it just to do it, So that's my biggest challenge, and whoever's watching us across the board is just, let's let's try to create something. Let's try to create something for all our leagues, all our teams, from the flag level to the transition into the tackle level. It's create something that's going to be sustainable. And you guys are doing a great job of that down there. I paid attention. I've seen you guys. We got a few guys up here as well. But quite honestly, it just needs to be everybody. It needs to be everybody. Yeah. Once we're able to get everybody and go to the right events, maybe we'll get the attention of who needs to really understand what's going on. And they would fall right in line with what's truly going on with the kids.
Yeah.
Meus caros,
For sure.
para quem está lá em casa, dizer que este programa é apoiado e felizmente com muito suporte pelo Fotos Lounge Sports Bar and Bistro, bar desportivo na Avenida do Clalé, número 49, em Lisboa. Vão até lá. Dizer ainda que desculpem, muita coisa ao mesmo tempo, que podem e devem colocar o vosso like para nos ajudar aí a crescer mais. Ponham a seguir nas várias redes, no YouTube e no Facebook e no Instagram. Nós dissemos que quando o Kiko voltasse as coisas começavam a melhorar, e é verdade. Tem havido muita coisa, muita comunicação lá. Eu sei que algumas pessoas não gostam assim tanto do design, mas é o melhor que conseguimos fazer e o que interessa é que está a ser feito. E bem melhor do que aquilo que eu fazia ou que qualquer um dos outros fazia. Meus caros, agradecer ao Awal. Thank you for your presence and for your stories. Yes, Julie.
I just want to remind you, because Trinka has to go. So, if you can tell a funny story about your times as a player.
Hey, Awal. I'm sorry, but I really, Awal and everybody at home too. Right. I have to go, but it was a pleasure, and I look forward to see you on the field.
Absolutely.
Because it's a good sign if I see you on the field.
Yes,
it means we're at the playoffs. So best of luck to you, and thanks for being here.
All right, thank you very much for having me.
See you guys. Sorry, and hey, don't forget.
So,
tell the story. See ya.
I will. So, a funny story. Where can I go? That was a hard one for me to think of. I thought about that. Funny story for me. Unfortunately, I wouldn't.
You don't have. Okay. No, please.
Funny football stories in Portugal, but I could say in Europe in general was my first time when I stepped foot to play football out here in Europe, and I saw guys in soccer shin guards.
Yeah.
I was completely lost. I didn't know. I thought we were playing soccer at one point. I didn't know what I signed up for, but that's by far has been one of the funniest stories for me. Just my experience in Europe in general. So yeah, that's the most like
that culture thing, like
right.
There's a lot of people that don't know that you can't use shin guards in football.
Right.
I've seen a few in the games, like, ref, why is he wearing shin guards? And the ref's like, oh, you have to take that out. Like, what? And they go like, what?
Yeah, it's funny to see, and the other things like the cups and all that. But again, those are things that are completely new for me to see. I can't tell you the last time I've seen one of those outside of Europe, but I take it with a grain of salt, and I just try to coach people the best way I can in those regards. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, my friends. Many thanks all for your presence.
No problem.
For your
Awal, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. It was a great chat with you guys,
and you need to return to speak with us, because we have a lot of commentaries, and I can't show all. Sorry for all people sent us the commentaries, but we don't have a lot of time to speak and put all commentaries.
Pessoal, guardem as perguntas para quando o Awal voltar, que já vamos ter mais coisas para falar.
Vamos ter que
Olha, eu só quero fazer aqui
uma parte.
Quero só fazer aqui uma parte. Quero deixar aqui um abraço ao pessoal do Discord do PT Football, porque me enviaram umas coisas bastante engraçadas e especialmente a quem gera o Discord do PT Football. Quero mandar um grande abraço. Quero deixar um grande abraço, que parece que me conhecem muito bem. Por isso, obrigado, pessoal.
A dizer que seguem. Não. Pessoal que está lá em casa, coisas que devem ver e seguir, páginas PT Football, aqui o Couratos, vão até às redes, façam seguir e likes e por aí fora, para ver se conseguimos aumentar aqui onde nós chegamos, tanto o PT Football, normalmente o live às quintas-feiras, o Awal também já lá esteve, vão ver o programa dele, falou aqui um bocadinho, falou lá um pouco mais, desenvolveu um pouco mais algumas temáticas que já falámos aqui hoje. Dizer que os Devils e Navigators vão jogar em casa dos Devils no Fofó dia 26, ou seja, sábado às 19 horas, vão até lá, excelente perspectiva de um excelente jogo, e ali condições que os Devils têm, que agora muito melhores do que anteriormente, e parece-me que bem melhores do que muitos dos nossos estádios, e por isso vão até lá ver Mutts e os Renegades, o derby dos derbys. É engraçado, os derbys de Lisboa e o derby
do Porto.
Os Mutts e os Renegades jogam dia 27, ou seja, às 15 horas no domingo. Dizer que já jogaram, houve aqui uma mudança de jogos, mas
do calendário.
já jogaram por 3 e o resultado foi apenas e só por 3 pontos. Por isso esperamos aqui um excelente jogo, onde os Mutts recebem os Renegades e os Renegades vão tentar vencer e de aí conseguirem passar para uma posição melhor do que estão. Ou seja, 15 horas, domingo, complexo municipal de Cutamas, acho que é assim que se diz, Maia. Diria que os Mutts Renegades deverão ter a transmissão no PT Football. Os Devils e os Navigators ainda não sei, logo que tenhamos essa informação, partilhamos. Dizer ainda...
Fazemos apostas ou não?
Pois, ok. Também está a haver as apostas no PT Football, vão até lá. Há uma pessoa que está a dominar aquilo forte e feio, que sou eu, mas acertei. E apostas para esta semana. In our program, Couratos&Atacadores, normally we
make bets for the weekend games.
The winners for
the winners.
Yeah. I think it's simple for the game.
The Sunday game.
In your opinion, but I need to question. In your opinion, Mutts or Renegades win the game?
I'm always going for the underdog, which is going to be us in that situation.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm going for the home team also on that game.
And if I could add one thing before we move on is for everybody watching, come out Sunday, show us your support. Feel free to follow us on the Mutts Facebook page or Instagram page at Mutts CFA, and feel free to follow me as well at DB_WAL and 09. Feel free to follow us and stay tuned with us, and just follow us along the journey. We have a lot of great things happening this season, and best of luck to everybody playing this weekend. Let's just make sure one thing: let's have fun out there. Football is all about fun. It's not about who's bigger and better than anybody else, but most importantly, show your support. Yeah, and that's me.
Yes. Is the Instagram Awal Instagram debut?
Instagram,
yeah. Follow the Awal page in Instagram. In my opinion, this game, I think Mutts will win. But I like very much his Renegade to win the game. But
if I could include something about those guys, those are a great group of guys. Being the guys that I coached, last when I was here, I tell you one thing: they know how I play, and they know that they're gonna always come out and give me their best. And with whoever they play, they're gonna always give their best. So I never count them out. I expect for them to come out swinging. What I mean swinging is at all angles, from special teams, offense, defense, to all angles of the football. It's just to give it their all. And I know that going into the game, and I just expect our guys to execute their jobs. And overall, we're gonna see who comes up with the victory. Chess match at the end of the day.
Because only for this, if Renegades win the game, is very nice. These three teams all in the same
2-1
is very, very funny. But I think in the finish, Mutts we will win. Okay, sorry, Mark Schmidt. Is my opinion. In the second game, or in this case the first game, well, Devils or Navigators?
So that's going to be an interesting game. Again, I don't want to throw all my eggs in any basket. I love what the Devils are doing, and I love exactly what the Navigators are doing. It's going to be a good game. Quite honestly, I don't like picking teams because it just depends who comes out swinging that day. So again, we'll see.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't. I don't like you because you don't put the. Yes, no problem. Put your opinion. It's very nice. He's like Julio. Devils on Navigator.
For personal reasons, I can't comment on that.
Yes, he's a referee. Yes, probably.
Maybe. Who knows?
It's going to be a great game, I say.
I'm going to be at the game. So
I'm the
doing what?
Guy can tell this. But okay, I like very much his Navigators win, but I think Devils win the game. Because I think Devils, the team, has more experience or more capacity to win. But is my perspective. I think Devils win, but I think it's very, very nice game. I think this weekend, these 2 days, is probably the best 2 games, the best journal. I don't know exactly jornada. The best
week.
Best week, yes. Sorry, the best week we will have probably. Okay, we don't have Crusaders. I think the big problem. It's the big fail of this week, but it's very, very nice time. And please, every time go to the stadium or try follow the PT football or another or the page, the clubs. If we will have the transmission of in live in Facebook or YouTube. My friends, many thanks all.
Julio. Thank you. Obrigado, Vitor.
Obrigada.
Malta, obrigado, and I hope to chat with you guys very soon.
Yes. Malta, dizer por fim, e agora tem que ser em português, coloquem o vosso like e dizer que este programa é apoiado pelo Fotos Lounge Sports Bar and Bistro, bar desportivo na Avenida do Cololé, número 49. Dizer que este programa também estará nas plataformas de podcast. Já estão lá alguns episódios passados. Vamos tentar que todas as quartas-feiras de manhã estejam a entrar. Por isso, quem nos ouve, também partilhem, sigam os vários providers de podcasts e que estaremos lá presentes e que já temos algumas pessoas que nos ouvem passado um dia ou dois. A quem nos ouvir hoje, passado já passado a gravação só, um abraço e tentem ir também até aos jogos e partilhem aí por onde é que nos ouviram. Um abraço, meus caros, e vamos lá então ao genérico. a ver se este genérico passa de uma vez por todas em frente e conseguimos. Awal, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
E podemos
Ainda
continuar.
bem. Já acabou. Ainda bem. Olha, as pessoas não acabava, pá.
Hoje estava quase. Vamos lá ver. Seu Fotos da Auto Sports Bar, nosso patrocinador.
Apareçam lá, tem uns hambúrgueres. E aqueles tacos? Os tacos de lá são espetaculares.
São espetaculares.